What up, Lakers family? It's your boy DTLF back with another post-game recap as the Lakers get their first win of the preseason basketball, 126-116 over the Golden State Warriors, who were undefeated. No Curry in this one, no Jimmy Butler, but they had most of their other guys. Lakers didn't have LeBron, didn't have Luka, and for the most of the game, they had Austin Reaves until they lost him early in the third. And but I'll tell you, man, I got a lot of positives to bring forward here in this post-game recap because the Lakers, I thought, were a very fun team to watch tonight, led by Austin Reaves. He really is him. Y'all see the thumbnail. Shout out to Tara for the thumbnail. But, guys, it's going to be a fun season if today is any indicator, and we learned a lot about this team. First off, I want to say Austin Reaves is about to take that leap and become an all-star. Hopefully he's okay. It doesn't look like the serious injury, but you never know. 7 for 10 from the field. 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. He also had 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 21 points in 23 minutes. Again, some of y'all think I'm crazy. I said pregame, I expect this guy to average 23 plus, especially with LeBron. Missing early on in the season. I think he's really going to take control and the reins of a lot of this team, man. And yeah, I love what I saw too, Daniel. Oh my goodness, brother, it was nice because it wasn't just. Even though it was mainly Austin, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, just filled it up in 23 minutes. Rui played really well. When Rui plays like this, we're pretty hard to beat. 16 points for Rui in 27 minutes, 3 for 4 from beyond the arc, guys. Also had a steal, 2 assists. I mean, the dude was all over the place tonight. Vando continues to be a defensive beast, right? 6 points, though. I like the aggression in 25 minutes. 3 for 9 from the field. Still not knocking down threes. 0 for 4. 3-ball, all this talk about is 3-ball looking better and this and that. It's just so much different in training camp and in practice versus in real live game action. So still 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. But as long as he stays aggressive, then, he'll continue to improve. Now I want to talk a little bit about DeAndre Ayton. Because by far, this was DeAndre Ayton's best game by far. And he really showed. And like I said pregame, I needed him to be a little more assertive offensively. Because he's been great defensively. But in this one, he had 14 points in 26 minutes, 6 for 8 from the field. In the first half, he did not miss. 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. All right. So I thought that he was absolutely phenomenal tonight. And if this is a sign of things to come, then I'm going to be very excited for DeAndre Ayton because I think he can really get us all excited, man, for especially as an anchor defensively. We haven't had an anchor since AD. I know it wasn't too long ago we had AD, but this is going to be the best anchor we've had since then. And he was desperately missed last year in the playoffs. So it's nice to have an anchor like DeAndre Ayton. Active hands also, that's huge. The guy had 2 steals in 26 minutes. Really freaking good. And then there was Dalton Knecht, right? Dalton Knecht, we talked about this game. We said let him at least get 15 to 20 points. He got his 16 points. All right, he was much better. 4 for 9 from the field, 2 for 5. 6 for 8 from the free throw line with 2 assists and 3 rebounds. Now, he showcased a little something. Still not super happy about his game so far, but it was better than what he's been showing. So that was positive. And to me, I see a trend here. He plays really well alongside Austin Reaves or a playmaker who can get him the ball when he spots up and becomes a sniper. Simple as that. As simple as that. But, yeah, Ayton looked really good. Daniel, he's going to feast with Luka. I cannot wait. And LeBron James, let's not forget, LeBron is a great table setter. Same thing with Austin. Austin was setting him up tonight in those minutes before he got hurt. My boy Die Hard said, pissed me off how the Warriors get away with so much BS. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Yeah, man, listen, it is frustrating. It is frustrating to see it. We know that the refs are in their prime. This is how it's going to look in the regular season. We just have to find ways to win. And again, I'm going to get into so many details because there was a lot of players that I really liked tonight that got me excited, man, about what this team could potentially become. And I want to dissect each one. This is game 3 of the preseason, so we have a little bit more to kind of get into and to look at as we progress here throughout the preseason. So, but I am happy we finally got a win and we're moving on up and, looking better by the minute. But I want to talk about 3 role players that, don't really have a real roster spot, but they're on two of them are on 2-way contracts. And that's Nate Williams, first of all. Number 50, he doesn't have a contract. All right. But it's hustle. The way he was picking up full court. And I know he's going up against backups and third stringers. But they're the type of players like the Stanley Johnson types that I like. Nate Williams was very solid. And I would like to see a little bit more of him. Maybe they invite him to the South Bay Lakers or something. But Nate Williams was good. That was one of the three that caught my eye that most likely won't make the roster, but good to stash him away. Nick Smith, he is on a two-way contract. Nick Smith Jr., been telling you guys from the moment we got him, I don't understand how the Charlotte Hornets gave up so early, but they did the same thing with another guard that we picked up a couple years back by the name of Malik Monk. And I told you guys the same thing about Monk. He was going to have a breakout year. Well, Nick Smith is only 21 years of age. He's got a world of potential. Things I like about his game, he can break people off the dribble, get to his spots. He can shoot. He can create and play make for others, and he's very crafty. He reminds me of Malik Monk light, obviously, because Malik Monk's way more explosive and athletic, but this kid is good. He went 3 for 3 from the field today. His best showing by far was for 7 points. And most importantly, those buckets he got were in crucial situations when the game was on the line. Like there was some nice little tween fadeaway action. He showed up right there. It was just nice to see. And the last player from the three that have kind of gone under the radar here during preseason is RJ Davis. I told you guys this kid right here, man, out of North Carolina. I'm telling y'all, man, he reminds me a lot of Aaron Brooks from the Houston Rockets. Look him up from a couple years back. He played probably 7-8 years ago. All right, I've been watching hoops forever. Don't ask. But he reminds me a lot of Aaron Brooks, undersized guard who can get buckets quickly and is not afraid to attack the rack. I really like him, has a great handle, has a high IQ for the game, and he's fearless. RJ Davis, North Carolina. I liked him since Summer League. I told you guys, keep your eye out on him. This kid came in 2 for 2 from the field, 5 points, 3 rebounds, and just really, really versatile. The bench did his job. Bronny James played decent too. He attacked, put his head down, and did what he had to do. I'm glad you remember Aaron Brooks, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, that's what RJ Davis reminds me of, and I think he can be really solid for a team, if not for us, for somebody. But I would take away Coloco's two-way contract, because Coloco hasn't shown much at this point. We've had him for a couple years. And give it to RJ Davis. You have Nick Smith and RJ Davis. You can never have enough ball handling. Look what happened tonight. Down goes Austin Reaves, and thankfully we had RJ Davis and Nick Smith to close the game. Not that it matters because it's preseason, but it's kind of a simulation of what could have happened in regular season. There's a lot of injuries, suspensions, all kinds of stuff. With LeBron being out, he's going to have to do less of the ball handling duties and more of the off-ball stuff. So players like that, really nice, man. RJ Davis, Nick Smith, you never know. They might come in handy, right? Nate Williams. Those three right there, I would put on a two-way contract. Those three. I know we need another big, but I don't think it's going to come from the two ways, right? I want to talk about Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent apparently loves playing the Golden State Warriors because the first game he had 16 last weekend, and now today he had 13. But he also had 4 rebounds and 2 assists, and he played some solid ball, even defensively, having two steals. 3 for 8 from the field, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc, and some timely buckets. So I don't trust in him to do this consistently, but he likes this matchup versus Golden State for whatever the reason. He did his part. So shout out to Gabe Vincent, right? Jackson Hayes is Jackson Hayes. Yeah, he's going to catch a couple of lobs, a couple of dunks. He's going to get a couple of moving screens, catch a couple of fouls, give up a couple of offensive rebounds. He's just a so-so player. But this team is showing their depth tonight with this win. Jake LaRavia also. Now, Jake LaRavia didn't shoot particularly well from the field, but he did have 11 points. He had 5 assists, and here's the key stat. He's a scrappy player. He's going to be a difference maker on the defensive end. He had 4 steals. 4 steals for Jake the Snake. And I'll tell you, man, I like everything about Jake except for his ball handling. His ball handling, every time he handles that rock, makes me nervous. I don't know why. It just does. Seems like he doesn't have a great ball handle. Maybe hanging out with Austin Reaves and working out with him. Maybe it'll rub off. Dude is still only 23. Shout out to Pasadena. That's where he's from. I'm rooting for Jake. I like his defense. Seems like a great 3-and-D wing. Smack threes, can cut to the basket and finish, and can pass really well and play defense. Those are good attributes for a player, right? Even though we need more ball handling, I don't think the ball handling will come from him, unfortunately, right? That's the only thing I will say about Jake LaRavia. But I like what I'm seeing from this team, man. JJ Redick says Dalton Knecht had his best offensive training camp out of any Laker. He said they tracked the data, and he scored 42 points more than any other teammate in live play and at about 60% shooting clip. But Redick says Knecht ceiling will be up to his defense. So that's just something JJ said right now, post game. So just to fill you guys in, that's interesting. I think the coach is trying to build up his confidence and try to get him to buy into defense, right? Because that sounds like, oh, he's been getting buckets in training camp, but let's see how he defends, right? Also, JJ Redick said that he thinks Austin is fine, so that's good news. That injury is nothing serious. I thought so. Just kept him out for precaution. After taking a knee to the lower leg in the third quarter, right? So that's good. But Reaves, don't tell me I haven't been right about Reaves, because every year he's been improving, and this year looks like he's going to take another step. I'm predicting 23 points per game, if not more. Okay, with about 5 to 6 assists. Yeah, it's possible. Even with LeBron on the roster, even with Luka on the roster, Luka can be very unselfish. It's possible. And then Austin, man, he looks like a Jamal Crawford light with the ball handle sometimes. Not as good as Jamal, but he's somewhere in between. And, you got to absolutely love what I'm hearing from the coaching staff about everything Austin has done this offseason, man. But preseason, this is our most impressive preseason win. Now, I will say, when Austin Reaves went down with injury, it looked like we got a little shell-shocked, and they started making a little mini comeback. Lakers countered that by bringing in a couple of ball-handling guards. Shout out to Bronny, shout out to Nick Smith Jr., shout out to R.J. Davis. And those guys took care of the rest. They put, the offense in place to succeed, and they just kind of picked it up where the last man left off. So I'm happy about that. I was happy that we got this win. I was happy that we can proceed. And I'll be happy to read some comments, see what you guys got to say about this team, where you guys think we're at, how far you guys think we can go. Mind you, still no Marcus Smart, still no Luka Doncic, still no LeBron James, still no Maxi Kleber, right? Still no Adu Thero. Like, we're still lacking a big chunk of the roster. That's 5 players. 4 of those at least could probably make an impact this season. So that tells you that we're still missing a whole layer to this team. But I like that the fact that what I saw from the last preseason, last weekend that happened versus this same very team, Golden State, to this preseason game, we made leaps and bounds. That means they've been watching film, practicing, and that means JJ's been holding them accountable. Because I said it was night and day. And that was one thing I said preseason. I want to see how we adapt and adjust based on how we got smacked last weekend. And we did that. Of course, no Curry, no Jimmy Butler for them, no Moses Moody. But still, it's kind of evens out because of everybody we're missing. You can argue. Matter of fact, not even an argument. We're missing better players than the ones they have, right? I'll take LeBron and Luka and Marcus Smart over Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry and Moses Moody all day, any day, right? So, all right, but I'll read a couple comments to see. My guy Angel says, Softon looking really good today. I'm not surprised. I'm expecting this from him. I'd be disappointed if he looked anything better. First 2 games, both over 20 points, both less than 30 minutes, okay? He can fill it up quickly, and he's got a nice jump shot. His handle's immaculate. His footwork is impeccable. The way he spun away from the defense to hit that turnaround jump shot, those are Kobe-type moves. There's only a handful of players that can make those type of moves consistently in today's NBA, because mostly everybody wants to run behind the screen and shoot a 3. Steph Curry era, right? So, but it is good, Angel, that he looks good for sure. K. Slay says, the Warriors guard with the mustache bothers me for some reason since last year, bro. He's just, you know why. It's the mustache, bro. We got the porn stash out. It's just not a good look. But it's funny that you say that. I call him the coach's son. He looks so much like Steve Kerr with a mustache. Mambo Juan says, what up, Dan? Really like what we saw from Ayton. Ayton's just getting started. And like I mentioned pregame, I needed to see this from him. I needed him to take his time. And he did that. He took his time in the post. Nice little turnaround jump shot. Nice little floaters. Nice little stop and pops from mid-range. Those are the type of shots we need him to take. And like I've said, he's not Anthony Davis, but he could definitely give us 1/3 of what AD was giving us. Maybe even 2/3 on a good night, right? So that'll be enough. You get Luka, and you replenish a lot of what you lost with AD. Not all of it, but a lot of it, right? So that's good news. And then think about it. We got Jake LaRavia to replace some of what we lost with Max Christie. It's almost like you just got Luka for free at that point, right? And you get other players to kind of, plug in and kind of complement the roster that we currently have. So that's good, man. I like it a lot too. Sawston could be like a Jalen Brunson. Sawston is Manu Ginobili reincarnated. Manu Ginobili could have been so much more had he started, but he sacrificed for the team and came off the bench and ended up averaging like 13 on career average, right? I kind of want Austin to do the same thing, even though he can average more in our offense, but he said Iverson Reaves. But, all in all, Austin is exactly where he needs to be right now. He's exactly where he deserves to be, and he's getting better and better. And the haters are really quiet right now. They're going to wait for him to have a bad game before they pop up on this account and start talking crazy. But I know it's only preseason, but he's showing a lot right now. And it's going to translate to the regular season and beyond. to the postseason. He was really hurt, guys. Legitimately, the dude was hurt, and people wanted to take that out of context and say, oh, he's a bum. Look what he did in the playoffs. Well, yeah, he was hurt. He was literally hurt. And he didn't even say it. The coaching staff did, right? But yeah, I like what I'm seeing. JJ Redick said DeAndre Ayton was really good in the pocket tonight. And there were even more opportunities where teammates didn't find him. There was a play where Austin licked him off. He should have passed it to him off the pick and roll right there. There's a couple of stuff. But all in all, again, Austin Reaves led us with 21 on 7 for 10 from shooting from the field. He started off scoring 5 straight points, setting the tone like the true team leader that he is whenever Luka and LeBron aren't there. And he was tremendous. Rui, he scored 10 quick points in the first quarter, and then it helped establish him early. I think that's what his game is. I think if he gets it going early, he'll have a good game. If he doesn't get it going early, it's harder for somebody like a Rui Hachimura to pick it up later on in games. That's just based off of what I see throughout his career with the Lakers, right? I like the fact that Dalton capitalized on his rare start. That's a golden opportunity. He took advantage of that. So, he got to the free throw line and hit a couple of shots. That's really good. And then the bench got contribution with Gabe Vincent, Jake LaRavia, Jackson Hayes, and those other 3 I mentioned that deserve to be at least on a 2-way contract, right? On the opposite end, the Warriors made a little mini run in the third, and that's, I do have to mention something negative, is that almost every single game we played in preseason, as a matter of fact, all 3 of them, we've given up a big run in the third quarter. I know it's situational because Austin got hurt and they made the run then, but still, we have to figure out how to nip that in the butt. We don't want to carry that habit into the regular season. You know what I mean? We don't want to do that. He said that picture on the live is hard. You mean the thumbnail? Thank you, bro. Shout out to my sis, Tara. She told me to use it, and I said, why not? That's a cool picture. Shout out to her. She made it. Did the Lakers beat the Warriors? Yes, they did. But it doesn't count. It's only preseason. What does count, though, is the fact that we improved from the last weekend when we played them to now. We improved. And that really counts. It shows that the coaching is where it needs to be. The players starting to adapt, and they're starting to take everything in like sponges, right? But, the defensive activity definitely picked up. It stood out to me, forcing turnovers, limiting the Warriors' scoring opportunities, especially in the first half. I thought in the first half we were impeccable. Third quarter, we kind of fell apart, and we kind of, got it back late in the fourth. So, but it was a nice balance of scoring, between Austin, Rui, Ayton, Knecht. It was nice. And even the bench had nice balance with Vincent, LaRavia, and Jackson Hayes. It showcased our depth tonight, But the hot starts are going to be key to our season. I would hate to start late in games. It's just not. It's not good. It's not good to start late in games. I feel like we're always trailing when that happens. And you definitely don't want to start like that because then you set yourself up for those phantom runs we were doing last season, He said, I just like hearing the Lakers beat the Warriors. Well, I got you, man. If you're just tuning in, yes, Lakers beat the Warriors. Okay, 126-116. No Luka. Okay, no Marcus Smart. No LeBron. Right? No Maxi Kleber. No Adu Thero. No problem. All right, we got enough depth to get it done. And that's all that matters. And we need to carry this momentum into the next preseason game. And the next one, we got 3 more preseason games. And the good news is that Luka and Marcus Smart, I said Marcus Spartan. That's a cool nickname, by the way. He's a Warrior. But Luka and Marcus Smart, according to JJ Redick, are going to play the last 2 out of the final 3 games. So we're going to see a more complete picture to what this team will look like. I'm very excited for that, man. I've been waiting for years. Those of you that have been with me on the channel for years know that I always wanted my guy Marcus Smart on the team. Since the Celtics traded him away, I was like, oh, maybe the Lakers can swoop him up at some point. And I was right. I said, I don't think he fits the Memphis Grizzlies timeline. Unfortunately, there was injuries involved, kind of forced that to happen. But regardless, he ended up here, and I'm very happy about that, man. Any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, fam? I'll take any comments you guys have. You guys heard my part of the breakdown for tonight, and I want to hear your guys' side of the breakdown. My guy Day said chip season. Bro, I'm excited, bro. This has potential to be a really good season for us. It has a lot of good potential for sure. Let's see. My guy said that's a good win. Will carry us in the tough West. Amazing win. Amazing win. But again, it is only preseason. I'm sure the Warriors are not going to show every trick they have up their sleeve. They're not going to run all their regular plays. So they're saving some of those for opening night, which is October 21st, or is it the 22nd? I believe it's the 21st. So just keep it locked, man. I cannot wait to see how we continue to develop and we continue to flourish as a unit. My guy Ren says Knecht finally came through with 16 points. We've been waiting on that, bro. And we mentioned him pregame. We said we needed to see this for him. Knecht is a confidence player, meaning they started him and he got his green light and he got his confidence. It's going to be hard for him to become a role player. He doesn't want to be the Kyle Korver type. He wants more than that. But the problem is his game doesn't necessarily scream more than that, right? It literally is screaming Kyle Korver type, spot up shooter, straight line driver. Like, he doesn't have great handle. He doesn't have a great playmaking ability. He's not a great defender. So you have to play your role, young fella. I was hoping his handle would be a lot more developed, just like Austin Reaves, from his rookie season to his next season. There was a kind of a leap in handles, and we didn't see that with Dalton. I don't know what it is, but we didn't see it. So neither did the Lakers, Vincent. We're even. Yeah, they didn't have their starters, but neither did we. We're missing Luka, LeBron, maybe even Marcus Smart, assuming he starts. Knecht Force showed up. It was nice to see, bro. It was nice to see Knecht Force showed up. Yep, really nice to see. Let's see. Rome says, I think the Lakers will seek more scoring before the trade deadline. Bro, I think tonight perfectly showcased that we could use more ball handlers. Why? Because once Austin Reaves got hurt, all we had was Gabe Vincent. And luckily, Nick Smith Jr. and RJ Davis were up for the job, and they did their part. They pulled their weight, right? They gave us some valuable minutes. But if it wasn't for that, we would have lost this game. So the more ball handling you can have, the more combo scoring. Again, I've been hearing rumors that the Kings would love to move off of the Malik Monk contract, to sign Russell Westbrook. Why they want to do that, I don't know, but I guess that's what makes them the Sacramento Kings, right? But he would be a great pickup for the Lakers. Malik Monk off the bench, But as far as the youth goes, I like what RJ Davis brings. I like what those guys that I mentioned earlier bring. And maybe they'll develop into something nice, but I don't think they'll be ready this year. Never know. But usually, rookies aren't ready year one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope RJ balls out and he ends up carving out a role. Bronny's the one I'm concerned about. He had some questionable plays early on. He got better as the game progressed, but I'm just not sold on him right now. If anything, he impressed me more last year, towards the end of the year. Yeah, he impressed me. He impressed me. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Kimmy Go, appreciate that. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's see. OG says, Dan, do we have a first-round pick this season that we can trade during the season for an impact player? Yes, we have our first-round pick this season. We do. Okay. We lost I think the last first-round pick we traded in the Anthony Davis trade happened this year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So we didn't draft anybody in the first round, but we did buy a second-round pick. Adu Theoro was the pick, right? So we should have because the CBA makes it so that you can only trade one pick every other year. So we should have our pick currently. Let's see. If Rui can be consistent on offense and average close to 18 points per game with Luka, LeBron, that's scary for the league. I agree. Falcons fan, I agree. But here's the thing. I feel like we've been saying if Rui can for the last couple of years. The best sample size we've had of Rui has been in the playoffs, because the playoffs, they allow you to be more physical. I think that's to his brand of play. He likes to get physical. You saw today, he tried to get physical. They call him for an offensive foul, right? So, yeah, I agree with you, but we've been saying if Rui. When we want to say when Rui does it, Rui will do it. We want to see that consistency from him, because he's the type to have a great game. He'll have a 25-plus point per game, 25-plus points game, and then the next 2 or 3 games he'll disappear and have like a 9-point game with like 2-3 rebounds. And so I need to see just a little bit more consistency from Rui. I don't get excited anymore like I did when we first acquired him, when he has one good game. But if you can string together 2 to 3 in a row, then I'll start getting excited for sure. Just Incredible says, does Vando shooting threes bother you like it does with me? It doesn't bother me because he has to do it, man. If he doesn't do it, the defense is going to sag off and they're going to pack the paint and you're not going to be able to get much offense. So he has to shoot just to keep the defense honest. Hopefully he'll smack a couple and then the defense can start playing him for real. But if he's going to be out there, he's going to have to be aggressive. I actually like him being aggressive. I prefer him to attack the rim. He made some nice moves today going towards the basket. But at the end of the day, man, I can't criticize him. He's only going to get better if he continues to try. and he continues to put up shots. That's how he's going to get better, right? That's how he's going to get better, man. Let's see. Hopefully we get Maxi Kleber back. I can't wait to see what he brings. Let's see. That's a big if. That is a big if. Joe says, really like Nick Smith, showed something tonight. Yeah, man. Since we acquired him, I get excited for sure. He has a nice game. Again, I said it before I even seen him play here because I've seen him play in his career. It reminds me of a poor man's Malik Monk. Meaning, it's again, Malik Monk is an athletic beast. We've seen him in Kentucky in the backcourt with De'Aaron Fox. Just an athletic beast. He can catch bodies. He does it all. But very similar. Like the way they both set up the shot, they set up the play. They're a triple threat, coming off those screens. The way he gets to his open spots and can kind of play the spaces and pull up from anywhere. And even the little heads he had attacking the rim was really nice. He's got a bag on him. He's definitely a combo guard, kind of like in the build of like a CJ McCollum. And if he ever develops, we might get another gem right there, right? He could be a 6-man coming off the bench, doing some work. We can maybe groom him to be that type of player. Why they gave up on him at the age of 21, I don't know. But it's the same questions I was asking on why they gave up on Malik Monk. I was very excited when the Lakers signed him. I'm also excited with Nick Smith. The question is he going to develop this year? Is he going to get playing time? Most likely not. But Lakers are very patient with young players, especially 21-year-olds. It's like we got a free draft pick, a free first-round pick. Remember, he was picked at 27 by the Charlotte Hornets a couple years back. So they picked him extremely young, and they always drafting guards, James Bouknight as well. All these guards, and they just discard them like it's a Polaroid picture, man. They just discard it. And that's the problem, man. Is that when you're one of those mediocre franchises, they're looking for instant impact players that can right away come in and do what they got to do. So, that's the beauty of being a Laker fan. Lakers, since we're always on win now mode, we can have patience with those, two-way G League players or with those, 14, 15 man on the roster. We can be patient and we get rewarded in the long run for it. I've seen, in my life as a Laker, I've seen us develop so many talented pieces that we were either undrafted, drafted late, or just traded too early, like Shannon Brown. Guys like Trevor Ariza, guys like that, man, that came to the Lakers and made an impact. It's a beautiful thing because, like I said, the Lakers have the patience to develop these guys. Malik Monk, all these guys, they were nobodies before they came to the Lakers. Came here and they started to shine and ended up getting bigger contracts. So that's what we want to see for Nick Smith and players like that. Just continue to, Let's see. Looks like we got a question. He said, I wish we could have gotten Kevin Love, but decided to stay with Utah. We don't need Kevin Love. He's a great locker room guy, but outside of that, the 3 worst Lakers so far on this roster, or are we talking about old time? Rephrase that question for me, brother. On this roster or old time? And are we talking about talent? I'm going to assume you're talking about talent-wise and what they showcased. That's what I'm going to assume. All right, let me pull up the entire Lakers roster because I don't want to leave nobody out. So, okay, I got the Lakers roster before me. So you can rephrase that, but check this out. Okay, so the 3 worst that I've seen so far, and in preseason so far, right? Let's start at number 1. I gotta go Christian Koloko. Christian Koloko sometimes has looked like he doesn't belong. That might be the worst player. He doesn't do anything for us at all. Sometimes he can't even grab a rebound. And I liked him as a prospect coming in, but I haven't seen much development from him. And some players, they've reached their peak. That's it. That's as far as he'll go. He either doesn't have the passion or the IQ for the game or the work ethic, one of those. So I'm going to go Christian Koloko as the worst Laker this preseason so far that we've seen on the court. I'm not going to judge the ones we haven't seen because we haven't seen them. All right, at number 2, and this is purely just based off of what I've seen and what I don't like. That's going to be Jackson Hayes. Yes, he's got a couple posters, right? But he gets a lot of moving screens, right? He's constantly turning the ball over. Outside of catching lobs and dunks, it's not a great rebounder. I will say this. To be fair to him, his big body has definitely served him well. Guys are no longer running right through him like he's a toothpick, right? They're crashing. Body-on-body contact, he's actually getting some stops there and he's been better defensively. So I'll give him that. But I still believe he's the second worst player I've seen on this roster so far, like second weakest link. And then the third weakest link, I got to go Bronny. Not because I don't think he doesn't have potential. I think he has potential, but because he looks nervous out there sometimes. He rushes the shot. Okay. He doesn't wait for the player to set the screen before he goes. It's just the little fundamentals that are lacking with Bronny right now. Now, he's unselfish. He makes amazing passes, but when he attacks the rim, he gets blocked a lot. He misses a lot of his jump shots. We can't have that from a tweener guard, right? Somebody who's below 6'3". Can't have that because that'll mean that you're unplayable. So those are probably the top three worst Lakers or weakest links that we've seen. And you know what? That gave me a good video idea. I'm going to rank them from 15 all the way to 1 before the season starts, right when preseason ends. So that'll be a fun little video we will do together on the live stream. Thank you for the question, man. Gave me a good idea for another video. More content for you guys. Let's see. Good question right here. Falcons fan says, do you think we'll see any Adu Thero this season, or do you think he's still developing? He's very athletic. Been hearing great things from the kid. Look, one thing I know about Adu Thero, based on the research I've done, watching his highlights, I even went back and watched the whole game of him playing this offseason. The one thing I can tell you about Thero is that he's a defensive player. JJ Redick likes those. So, yes, I do believe we will see some of him. I don't know how much. It could be 5 minutes per game, maybe less. Maybe he gets, garbage minutes and eventually has to prove himself. But I do believe we're going to see more from Thero, man. I'm excited for Thero. I actually want to see him take the floor because outside of the highlights in that one college game I saw, I don't know much else about him, and I don't know how he's going to translate to the NBA, right? But I think I can assess him better after 3 to 5 games where I see him play. I'm already been able to break down Jake LaRavia's game and what I like and what I don't like about it. For example, good defender, knows how to use his size, has active hands, good rebounder, and can space the floor and spot up and shoot threes. And attack in straight lines, meaning he's either dribbling in a straight line to the basket or he's cutting without the basketball, which I prefer off ball for Jake LaRavia. The thing I don't like about him is his ball handle. He loses the ball a lot, very sloppy with the dribble. He can improve. He's only 23, but just like Dalton, man. Dalton didn't improve, so I don't have high hopes for that. But still very playable, right? Thero, it'll take me like 3 to 5 games watching him play with the Lakers to further assess him to see if he's actually going to earn minutes, if he's worth continuing to develop for the now or beyond that. I'll break it down for you guys. But, yeah, let's see. I know a lot of people are excited. We love rookies, man. It's always exciting. You never know. Rookies are like Christmas presents. You never know what you're going to get. Right, but just the prospect of knowing you got a fresh young rookie there waiting on the pine to get some minutes, and he's hungry. I think the prospect of knowing that is very exciting for fans, for coaching staff, for players, teammates, all of it. Right. Let's see. Vincent said Jake LaRavia is going to be fine. He just got to get used to the Lakers' new system and being a starter till LeBron comes back. No, I like what Jake LaRavia has done. I definitely like what Jake LaRavia has done. His one weakness is putting the ball on the floor and creating. I haven't seen it consistently enough. I've seen him turn the ball over almost every time he tries to do something to create for either himself or for his teammates. So he needs to improve in that department. But if he can do that, he'd be a more complete player, and I'd be a lot more excited for him. Right? We saw I still wish we had Phil Handy. I credit Phil Handy a lot for Austin Reaves' player development. If I'm Dalton Knecht or I'm Adu Thero or I'm Jake LaRavia, any of these young guys, they should get on the phone quickly. Pay the man whatever he wants because he's worth the price of admission. And learn your handles, man. Get better, improve. Because I'm telling you, man, Phil Handy is a GOAT when it comes to this stuff with the fundamentals and the dribbles and all that. I've seen clips of him myself on YouTube, and I've applied some of that to my own practices at 24, So, and that's at an amateur level. So I'm telling you, I think they should get with him because this guy, he did wonders for Austin. Not to say that Austin didn't have the potential for it. He did, but he flourished. You see the ball handle, guys, and the way he's got him on a string, the way he's crossing people over, going behind his back, doing all kinds of things to split double teams and whatnot. That has Phil Handy written all over it. And matter of fact, I heard somebody on a podcast. I'm not sure if it was Matt Barnes. It was an ex-NBA player. Right, because I watch a lot of podcasts now that I've been working out at the gym. He said that after Kyrie Irving, that Austin Reaves might have the next best bag with ball handle. And I sat there and talked about it. I sat there in the sauna and I thought about it, and I was like, I tried to think, after Kyrie Irving, who's the next best ball handler? Not a lot of names come to mind, right? There is some good ball handlers, but Austin Reaves is up there. I'd say Austin Reaves is in the top 25% of ball handlers in this league. And that's huge that we have one of those players. So those are the ones that can get from point A to point B and make things happen when there's nothing. Make something out of a play where there's nothing, right? So, yeah. Let's see. My guy, Falcons fan, says, I still think Scott Brooks is one of the top assistants in the league. I like Scott Brooks. I also like Nate McMillan. I think both of those guys were great hires last year. Very happy. Sharon says, Dalton has to be one of the worst Lakers so far, summer league and preseason. I would put Dalton number 4 after Bronny, but I still think Dalton has even more potential than Bronny right now. Still, Bronny hasn't shown me enough for me to get excited, and he showed more flashes towards the second part of the season. There was even a game when he dropped 20+ on a regular season game. I forgot what game it was, but he showed me more last year. I need to see more this year. I thought he had a great summer league, a very mid preseason, and hopefully he has a better regular season. But yeah, Dalton would probably be 4th on that list. Right? I think so, Sharon. Yeah, Dalton's up there. He hasn't really impressed. Today was his most impressive game probably since last year, since he started getting benched during the regular season. So that'll be that. Good to see you, though, Sharon. How you been? Good to see you, my friend. Make sure you guys hit the like button really quick, man. It helps the channel keep growing. We are growing, man. We are growing. This is going to be a big year for your boy and for the entire Lakers community, man. More shows for you guys. More everything. More giveaways. More sponsorship deals. All that good stuff, man. And by the way, if you guys weren't here for pregame, my league has officially just opened up. There's only 11 spots left. All right. During pregame, I said there was 13. During the game, 2 spots got taken up. So if you guys are interested in DTLF's draft league, NBA draft league, winner takes 150, DM me on either Instagram or Twitter, all right, with that information. But this video has been brought to you and sponsored by Underdog, okay? Right now, best promo they got since I've been sponsored by Underdog, right? $5 deposit and play gets you 100 in play credits. So make sure you guys get there and make sure you guys take advantage of that, because the season's coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot of entries during pre-games, and we're going to win money together, baby. So Chasing the Bag is going to be back on Playback. Just so many different segments, guys. You guys are going to want to be a part of for sure. And for those of you that love the horror story series, I had my family come over this weekend, so I haven't had a chance to do it. I know last weekend I said most likely it was going to be this weekend, but for sure this upcoming weekend, all right, we're going to do the late night horror stories with me and Yessie. So for those of you that are interested, second channel, Primetime TV, dedicated to everything non-Lakers, non-basketball related. So tap in, baby, tap in. A lot of stuff coming up. All right, final comment I'll read off before I get off tonight's live will be my guy, Danspiration, who says, Austin behind-the-back dribbles are crazy good. I still remember he did a behind-the-back spin right and spin left, go to the hoop for the lay. That's Kyrie's type of ball handles. I'm saying, I hadn't thought of how good his ball handles have gotten, but they're pretty up there. I'm not going to say they're as good as Kyrie's. Kyrie's a one of one. I'd be delusional and I'd be lying to you guys if I told you he was as good as Kyrie. But after Kyrie, that's the tier that Austin is in. So Kyrie's on an A+ tier of ball handle that even some of the greats never been on. After that, there's like a B tier, C tier, and a D tier. Austin is on the B+ tier. Okay, I'm going to put him right between the B+ and the A. He's not at an A+. That's Kyrie. But he's somewhere in between on the lower tier. And it's very exciting, man, because not only can he handle, but he can score from anywhere. His footwork is nice. His playmaking abilities, that little lob he had today, very nice, man. He's only going to continue to get better. I predict this is going to be his all-star year, barring no any injuries or anything, any setbacks. And it should be a fun season. But thank you guys again so much for joining me on pregame, joining me on postgame, joining me during the game on Playback TV. Like I said, lots of content coming up, guys. Stay tuned. Keep it locked. Hit that like button. Subscribe. I'd appreciate the hype button after the video post as well. You guys are the best, man. Much love. Shout out to Kimmy Goat for holding it down on the chat and everybody today for contributing, guys. I will see you guys on the next one, all right? Enjoy your night. Go Lakers, baby. And go Dodgers. And shout out to the Rams. All right, guys. Signing off. Peace.